Okay, today I'm at Cheltenham Racecourse talking to Jockey Club Group Betting Director Dickon. Thank you very much for agreeing to talk to us. Can we start from the beginning? For those that don't know, can you please tell us the run up to your career so far?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I've actually been with the Jockey Club nearly 20 years. This is my 20th year with the Jockey Club. I've been in my current role as betting director for nearly 6 years. Before that, I had a number of years as the managing director of Haydock Park Racecourse. But I actually joined the Jockey Club in a sort of marketing and public relations role actually at Aintree, which again I had a number of years there looking after the Grand National, which was pretty exciting. So yeah, I've had a bit of a sort of varied career within the Jockey Club. Prior to that, I worked as a sort of marketing, as a product manager for both Green Flag, which was quite an interesting role because they were the first ever sponsors of the England football team, and then I actually had 2 years with Coral. Working in the greyhound industry, working at Romford, which again was a fantastic couple of years. So yeah, a bit of a mix of roles, but yeah, I've been in the current role for just over 5 years.
So you're now mainly involved with bookmakers. Do you feel that Jockey Club racecourses value their bookmakers?
Yeah, I mean, I think the role that I look after anything to do with betting across the Jockey Club. I've sort of got a role within, so that could be anything from looking after the on-course bookmakers, their relationship, to betting partner sponsorship and commercial relationships with some of the off-course firms, and also looking after pool betting. So obviously we've got the tote at the moment that will shortly be transferring to our new business BritBet in July later this year. But yeah, I mean, I think if we're talking about on-course bookmakers, let me be clear, from a Jockey Club, we really enjoy working with on-course bookmakers. We think they're a valuable part of the race day experience, and long may that continue. If you go racing around the world when there's not on-course bookmakers, it does lack a bit of colour, it lacks a bit of flavour, and certainly when you come racing, the majority of our customers who come racing, they want to bet with an on-course bookmaker. They see that as a valuable part of the day.
You've had to make quite a few decisions since you've taken this role. What do you believe the best decision you've done for the ring is?
I think, listen, there are some fantastic bookmakers out there who want to proactively work with racecourses and see the bigger picture. They understand that things are changing in the world, and they want to sort of develop themselves for the future. I think in terms of actual what we've done, I always believe that implementing standard each way terms was really important for us. I think we had a situation where at certain racecourses we had bookmakers betting to fractions which were just unacceptable. We had a 6th and 8th, and we even had an example of a 12th, which was just completely unacceptable. So I think to introduce standard terms across all race courses, the Jockey Club were the first group to do it. Now it's across all race courses. I think it's very fair. I think it's fair to bookmakers, but I also think it's very fair to the consumers.
Okay, just as you've talked about the standard on-course terms, why was it that the anomaly of allowing on-course bookmakers to bet a 5th in handicaps of 16 to 21 runners allowed to happen when it's a quarter everywhere else?
Yeah, it's an interesting point, and we had some fairly lengthy debates around that with the bookmaker representatives. However, they felt very strongly that this was the right decision. They should be betting to that percentage and that fraction. And in the end, it was one that we agreed to. So, bookmakers can bet the quarter if they want to offer that to customers. There's no issues with that. But we did allow that 5th to remain for bookmakers because that's what they requested.
Having worked in the industry returning SPs, I do know that it causes some problems on such races. Do you feel that it's still very important for starting prices to continue to be returned from racecourses and racecourse bookmakers?
Absolutely. I fully support that, and yeah, I think generally the bookmakers do a fantastic job in terms of delivering that starting price, and I think it's a fair price for the off-course industry, and we would fully support that.
So what would you consider to be the biggest problem facing on-course bookmakers at the moment?
I think, listen, it's not easy what on-course bookmakers are doing. It's not a license to print money, which some people think it is. It's tough out there, and expenses for for bookmakers are growing each year. You know, travel costs, hotel costs, and you know, the world is changing. There are certainly more people betting now, both using a mobile device, 4G, you know, Wi-Fi, that's all here. So there's less people coming racing, betting with cash. However, the people who do come with cash and want to bet with bookmakers, I think generally get a very, very good service.
Look at switching it around a bit then, what's the biggest problem you face dealing with on-course bookmakers?
Generally, you know, the majority of bookmakers are absolutely fantastic to deal with. I really enjoy the sort of to and fro that we get. You know, I've got personal relationships with a number of the bookmakers. I think that the on-course bookmakers need to realise that, you know, racecourses are trying to work with them. They're not trying to fight them all the time. They're not against them all the time. We want to have a relationship that works for both sides. We are not going to agree with everything that we do. That's life. However, you know, sometimes there has to be give and take. You know, there'll be times that the bookmakers get more benefits than the racecourses, and there'll be other times the racecourses get more benefits. That is the way we are. But I think, you know, just generally the relationships are good. Unfortunately, there'll always be one or two who don't agree with the majority, and that's difficult. And what I do find is that we get to the situation where we make a decision collectively. This is not just racecourses making it. Collectively, we talk to bookmakers, make a decision, and then a decision that's going to assist some bookmakers has a negative impact on others. So you're never going to please everyone, and that is difficult. But I think generally we're in a pretty good place. We've recently set up, you may be aware, we've recently set up across the Jockey Club what are called bookmaker liaison committees, where we sit down, you know, will be twice a year with a representation of on-course bookmakers from each of the courses, and we sit down and we talk about matters that affect that individual course. And we've had half a dozen of those across our courses, and I've been really impressed with the sort of input that we've had and the debates that we've had with on-course bookmakers, and I hope that will be the start of even greater relationships with them.